You ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Hey friends, you're watching BrainStormAcres. I'm Henry.
And I'm Irene.
And we're going to have some more answers from some of our viewers about favorite ways to save water. But first, we have a mail call.
Yes, we do. So, we knew something was coming in the mail because Sandy from...
Suburban Homestead, Wyoming.
Yes. Had said she was sending us a package, but we had absolutely no idea what it was. And it was funny because I opened it and I went, I know exactly what these are, without even reading the label. So I'm actually not going to say what they are. We think they're very cool, and I've only got two in the house right now.
Everything else
is in the garden. Yeah. Unfortunately, our regular cucumbers are pretty much like kind of dribbling along, but I do have two out there, and I just put one of these in the greenhouse. But we were delighted with these. I've looked at these for years.
Yeah, so we're using a couple of these. We're going to see if we can get some cucumbers to form to these shapes.
Right.
And I think we'll probably make some pickles with it.
Yeah, I want to make some pickles, and I think it'd be a really fun thing for gifts to send somebody a jar of pickles, and the pickles are different.
Different is an understatement.
So that's all we're going to say for now, but we're delighted, and thank you so much, Sandy. They're very cool. We had no idea what you were sending, but that's fun. That's really fun.
Now, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of our viewers' comments about what they have for favorite water-saving tips.
Right. You know, we only included a few water-saving tips that we use. There's obviously a million of them. And simple things like when you're changing your toilet out, use a low flow. Things like that.
Yeah,
we have a low flow here.
Yeah, when we were a lot younger, we used to put a couple of bricks in the bottom of the tank. It's not recommended for a whole lot of reasons because a lot of those toilets weren't really intended for lower amounts of water, so sometimes they didn't flush quite right.
One of our viewers said that her favorite water-saving tip is that her kitchen faucet is away from the hot water heater, and if she's waiting for hot water to go do something, it takes about 2 gallons. So she has a container there. She runs the 2 gallons into the container, and then she hauls it outside to use her. I've done the same thing in our kitchen too.
And that was
Adler. She hauls the water out and waters her plants with it, especially if you have potted plants. That's very handy, and she has a whole stack of potted plants around her patio. Someone else said have a glass or a bottle of water with you. And instead of running, you wet your toothbrush, you do everything with the bottle of water or the glass. Particularly a good recommendation in some countries where the water is not safe to drink.
Now, who made that comment?
Jeannie.
Thanks very much for passing those tips on to everybody.
Yeah.
And we figured we'd go ahead and let everybody know that those tips came in.
Yeah, well, a lot of times people will send us private notes too, and they'll say things. So it's always fun to see what different people do.
Now, speaking of a drought, you may wonder why this video didn't show on Saturday morning, and the answer is a very simple one. We had rain.
Yeah, we actually had rain, but more important, we had heavy thunder and lightning and very heavy cloud cover. Based on the cloud cover, we should have had way more rain than we did, but there's no satellite uplink when you get really, really heavy cloud cover.
And there's also no cell phone service, so...
Yeah, our cell phone was down to crunch. It was doing nothing, so...
So that's why we didn't publish on Saturday morning, and we decided, after looking at what had gone on, that we would wait and upload so that you could look at this on Monday morning. Well, one of the things that happened this week was we had some unexpected good news from our lawyer, so... I spent an awful lot of time on the road to deal with trying to wrap a bunch of things up.
Right. So, yeah, and we went on a quest for a few more canning jars. That was entertaining.
That's not what I would say.
Well, we only missed one place I wanted to try, and next time we go down there, I'll try it again. This time of year can often be a little thin anyway, but because the world is a little nervous, and we have a huge collection of canning jars, but... we've been canning a ton of pickles, and Henry, unfortunately, likes 8-ounce containers of pickles.
Well, the reason being is that I like pickles, but a quart is an awful lot of pickles for one person to eat when you're just not going to sit and chow down on pickles alone.
Finding more lids is a challenge. I have lids on order through a major supplier, but they're not expecting them until the end of September. So we'll do okay, but at some point I may have to say no more pickles because I have to conserve them for the tomato sauce.
And the tomato crop is coming on really nicely now.
Yeah, it's been interesting. We've been doing some taste testing the last couple of days.
We've got a couple of varieties out.
Yeah.
Today, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, well, it was interesting because one of the varieties was recommended to us as mortgage lifter was recommended to us. We tried the mortgage lifter for today at lunchtime, and it was fine.
It was an all right tomato.
It's an all right tomato, but I would not say it was a 10 in terms of 1 to 10 being the bestest. The reason I was hesitant to grow too many big beef is because we've always gotten low production off of them. Now the tomatoes are just awesome. They're just we love the flavor. They are to us the epitome of what a good beefsteak tomato should be. They are BLT heaven, or tomato sandwich heaven. We have tried Alaskan Fancy. We will not grow that again. It's an okay tomato, not tomatoey enough for me. And the point of growing it was a short season. It hasn't turned out to be that way for us.
Yeah, it was not a short season here because it's been really warm.
Incredibly hot.
We had some water issues, and I think the combination just slowed the Alaska Fancy down too much.
We're still in the process of taste testing, and it was funny because one of our friends, Digwell Greenfingers from Great Britain, did one the other day. And he did one of those where you just line them up and you've got your little this many points for that. And then he rated all the tomatoes. Now, of course, his varieties are totally different than ours. I think there was only one there that I recognized. It was fun to watch him do it, and he'd be going, "Oh, this one doesn't taste like a tomato," And I totally know what he means. It's like you're going, "Well, that's such a pretty tomato, but
it tastes like a supermarket tomato." So one of the things that we get accomplished this week is I now have all the pieces in order to improve the water trailer and the water delivery. Right now it takes about an hour and 40 or 45 minutes to pump the trailer into one of our tanks. With the new setup, it should take about 3 to 4 minutes, which makes the whole process a whole lot more doable.
I'm holding still, so she won't scratch me. She's happy right now.
Hang around, stick around, because we have a lot more interesting things going on. There's going to be more building things here on the homestead. I have a lot of things that I need to get done.
Yep. We're going to be building some odd bits and pieces, small stuff around the yard and stuff to just keep things under control a little bit better.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications because we're always doing something here on the homestead. Sometimes it's different. Sometimes it's the same thing. Sometimes it's more of the same thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really off the wall.
Yeah, if you want to see, pretty much day by day. I'm actually participating in a every little bit counts challenge on Instagram right now. Right. So I'm posting every day. I'm not always posting timely. Sometimes I wind up posting a couple of days late, but each day gets their own post of things that we're preserving for the future. Check us out on Instagram too, because there's a lot going on there.
A whole lot.
Yeah.
Listen, thanks very much for watching. We'll talk with you later.
Bye.
Bye.